Hi, and welcome to Unit 4. In this unit, you'll be looking at the plan review process and transitioning from a little bit on theory, big picture theory stuff into some of the more nitty-gritty detail to do the actual planning. So with that said, we'll look at some of the contents. You'll be reading parts of Chapter 2, as well as the Alaska State Response Commission Plan Review process, charter, as well as our the State of Alaska's National Incident Management System Emergency Operations Plan crosswalk. So with that, we'll jump right into the Perry and Lindell commentaries. We'll look at looking at the guidelines for emergency management planning process. Um, it's been emphasized in the multi-agency approach, but refocus on group composition. Now that you know that from Unit 2 that there's a group of people needed to collaborate and get involved with the planning process, I think you want to go ahead and detail out a good group composition. So in other words, if you're targeting pan flu, for example, which is one of the all hazards components necessary to tackle pan flu, you might want to emphasize certain parts, such as public works, a small player, secondary player, but maybe a not so of a key player. So looking at group composition in this unit is critical, and identifying how that process is done. We're also going to talk a little bit about group dynamics and defining how a chair of a group or a group leader needs to be defined to drive some of the policies and the planning process. Because without that, it's just group dynamics. It just won't happen. And you as an emergency manager will probably be doing this quite often. Just because high-profile agencies such as law enforcement, state departments, although they may be high profile, they really aren't the lead in terms of emergency planning. So you might end up doing a lot of the facilitation. And then also define a methodology being used for the planning process or the plan review. So we're going to be taking a look at that as we go through the Plan Response Commission Plan Review Charter and the composition and how the chair was selected by reading the charter. But recognize that you need some sort of strong leadership to drive initiatives. Always consider as you go through the plan review process that the document's living, that it will always be changing, and you'll probably end up having a 90% solution to the document itself. So updates is important, as well as defining how to properly and effectively use updates. So that's what I want you to get out of the Perry and Lindell piece, and that small chapter of that. Moving on to the Circle Officers Plan Review Charter. This was drafted by a lawyer, so it's got a strong component of emergency managers leading through the plan review process. But this is just an example of how the state of Alaska reviews their plan. Focus on the methodology and the plan review. It's very simple, but to get to that simplistic type of review process took, believe it or not, months to come up with. So even though it took some months to develop this simple process, it was developed and it was codified within this document. So what I want you to get at is read through the charter, recognize that a charter is an important element towards the plan review process, because without that you don't have any guidelines to start from and to complete with. And then finally, read through the Alaska Emergency Operations Crosswalk. It is NIMS based, and focus on the crosswalk itself. It's basically the elements and tenets needed in emergency management plan, so that it encompasses how to manage an incident, or details out how the necessary components how to manage an incident. So that's what I want you to focus on, is the crosswalk and the development and the recognition that there are components within that that are needed for a plan to be successful. So with that, good luck on Chapter 4, and I look forward to you, or Unit 4, and then I look forward to your discussion questions.